Relative frequency tables. In this video, you'll learn how to calculate values in a relative frequency table and describe what the values mean in everyday language. A relative frequency table is created by dividing values in a two-way table by a total. The total can be the overall total, the row total, or the column total, depending on what we're looking for. Here's an example of a relative frequency table of students who were asked if they passed or failed a quiz and whether or not they studied for it. The 86% represents 86% of the students who passed the quiz and studied for it. 14% of the students who passed the quiz did not study for it. The 46 represents 46% of students who failed the quiz but studied for it. And 54% of the students who failed the quiz did not study for it. So a relative frequency table makes it easier to analyze and see patterns to compare. We can create a relative frequency table by doing the following steps. First, we'll find the total number of responses. This could be the entire table, a row, or a column. Then we'll divide each value in the two-way table by the total. And finally, we'll write results as a fraction, decimal, or percentage to show proportions. The accessory of choices of 143 people were recorded in the table. We'll create a relative frequency table from the two-way table. For this example, we'll look at the totals of each row. So we have wearing about, and then we have not wearing about. We'll start with the row of those wearing about. So we'll find our total. So we'll add 62 plus 32, which gives us a total of 94. Now we'll divide this 62 by our total of 94. This gives us 0.66, which is the same as 66%. Now we'll divide the 32 by our total of 94, which gives us 0.34, or 34%. Now we'll look at the bottom row of people that are not wearing about. So we'll find the total by adding 29 and 20 together, which gives us 49. So we'll divide 29 by our total of 49, which gives us an answer of 0.59, or 59%. Now we'll divide 20 by 49, which gives us 0.41, or 41%. So now we've finished our relative frequency table, and we can see it's a lot easier to compare these percentage values instead of the numbers that were given. Scientists give two different treatments to people who have the flu to see if their health improves. The results for the experiment are listed in the two-way table. What percentage of people receiving treatment 1 had improved health? We can find this by looking at the relative frequencies. So we'll start by looking at the column of treatment 1, and we'll add these together. Adding 23 plus 17 gives us a total of 40. So we'll divide 23 by our total of 40, which gives us an answer of 0.58, or 58%. Now we'll divide the 17 by 40, and this gives us 0.42, or 42%. So now we can see that 58% of people who had treatment 1 had improved health. What percentage of people receiving treatment had no improvement? So we'll start by looking at the column of treatment 2 and adding them together, giving us a total of 60. So we'll divide 25 by 60, giving us 0.42, or 42%. Now we'll divide 35 by 60, which gives us 0.58, or 58%. So now we can see that 58% of people who had treatment 2 had no improvement. A group of people are surveyed about whether they enjoy dancing or not and whether they listen to music while doing chores or not. Which value should go in the blank so that the percentage of people who do not listen to music while doing chores and do not enjoy dancing is 37.5%? Our options are 63, 82, 175, and 205. So we'll be finding the total of the column of those who do not listen to music. We'll start with our first option of 63 and see if that will give us 37.5%. So if we add the 105 plus the 63, we'll get a total of 168. If we divide 63 by 168, then we get a value of 0.375, or 37.5%, which is what we were looking for. So we got lucky and our first option was the correct answer. Here's one last example. 200 people were asked if they prefer dogs or cats and whether they live in a rural or urban setting. we'll convert the two-way table into a relative frequency table. This time we'll find the total of the entire table, so we'll add up all of our values, which gives us an answer of 200. We'll start by dividing 54 by the total of 200, which gives us an answer of 0.27, or 27%. Now we'll divide 80 by 200, which gives us 0.40, or 40%. Next we'll divide the 42 by 200, giving us 0.21, or 21%. Finally, we'll divide the 24 by 200, which gives us 0.12, or 12%. Now we've finished our relative frequency table, and we can see the pattern a lot clearer. We see that the highest population are those that live in an urban setting and prefer dogs. To recap what we've learned, converting two-way tables to relative frequency tables can help reveal patterns. Relative frequency tables are created by dividing the value in each cell by the total number of responses in the entire table, a row, or a column. And the total we take depends on the pattern that we're looking for.